What's up guys, Josh here, full-time RK Motors content guru, part-time RK Motors security. Today we're going to talk about this awesome Apache 10. Now a little bit of history for you. This is the tail end of GM's Task Force series pickups. The Apache was one point where Chevrolet named its vehicles. So you had Apache, Viking, and Spartan. But a lot of people just refer to these trucks as C10. So this kind of kicked off the CK series of Chevrolet trucks that would last the next 40 years, roughly 40 years, until the Silverado took over in 1999. This truck has benefited from a 5-year rotisserie restoration. It's a very nice truck, as you can tell. Black paint is super hard to get straight. A couple of cool details. These were called embossed spinners in GM factory literature. Very dramatic hood. They kind of scaled that down as they went later into the 60s. This truck does have the custom appearance package. Even now, you can walk into a Chevrolet dealership and you can buy a Silverado custom. It's a trim level now, but you know, through the years you've had custom, Cheyenne, Scottsdale. This is a custom, and what that got you is this awesome mid-century cab trim, some chrome stuff around the windows, and the side trim, which is relatively hard to find if you're restoring these things. Another cool detail of this restoration is the bed. Oftentimes, when you see a wood bed in a restored truck, the stainless skid strips have hardware. This has hidden hardware, which is a really slick detail, and it has concealed fuel filler. Just hit this switch right here, and one of the planks in the bed opens up. Got your fuel cap. Like a lot of these modern restorations, have your LED tail lights. That might not seem like a big detail, but it increases safety. Now let's take a look under the hood. So this is pretty much a typical LS swap. You're going to hear that a lot if you're new to the hobby. LS swaps are very popular because they're very economical. You can get a lot of performance for the money. What makes this LS swap special is it's kind of a hybrid of two different LS motors. You have a 6-liter LS motor. Someone's put LSA heads and an LSA supercharger on those. The LSA motor was the second in line as far as the hierarchy of LS motors when they were in production vehicles. You had the LS9, LSA. It's found in things like the Camaro ZL1, Cadillac CTS-V, and certain Holdens. Very performance-oriented motor. Has a little bit smaller supercharger and a little bit of difference from the LS9, but not much. Very nice looking engine bay. You have some really nice billet hood supports, Wilwood brake components, an aluminum radiator, and this thing is good for 483 horses to the truck's rear wheels. It's a very lively driving truck. So one thing about a lot of Restomods and restorations as far as trucks are concerned is a lot of people like to keep the traditional feel of a truck, but incorporate modern conveniences. There's the simplicity of old trucks is something that's really cool. There aren't many cars that are more kind of authentic than a classic truck. So one cool thing about the interior of this truck is the audio system. It's modern audio, and it's what we refer to here at RK Motors and what some refer to in the hobby as direct fit. That means it's a modern head unit that's capable of things. I don't know if this one is Bluetooth, but a lot of them are capable of that. But it has the same look as a factory radio. Very good job of balancing kind of the old school elements with some new stuff. You have red stitched glove leather for the seat, modern AC of course, and the floor mount low car shifter, which is quite different than what would have came from the factory. Now that we're back inside, let's take a look under the truck. Start with the drivetrain. So the LS motor is backed by a 4L80E 4-speed. That's a truck transmission, and it was commonly produced behind these motors from the factory. The 4L80E is basically a, I guess, evolution of the turbo hydromatic 400 that's so popular in vintage muscle cars. In addition to GM producing a ton of these, they outsourced them also to brands like Rolls, Bentley, Aston. Go back here to the back of the truck. You have another very common component. This is a Ford 9-inch axle. A lot of Restomods are built with 9-inch Ford axles. Doesn't matter the brand of the vehicle you're building. The reason being, these are extremely strong housings. They're dropout units. It's easy to change the gears. They accept pretty much any gear, and it's easy to get, you know, any kind of gear ratio or parts for them. Fun fact, until the next gen cars, which debuted this past weekend for NASCAR, this was the rear end NASCAR used. Transitioning to the suspension. So this isn't really necessarily a unique setup. This is an 83 C1500 front clip. So they've taken the front end out of an 83 C1500 and put it under this truck. It's been done before. I do believe this is the first time I've ever seen it here. I've been here about 11 years, so it's pretty cool when you come across something that's kind of unique. The benefits to doing something like this is just for drivability. So you get better bearings, you get disc brakes, you get power steering, and you get 5-lug wheels as opposed to 6, which originally came on the truck. So it gives you a wider variety of wheel choices. Transitioning from there, we'll go to brakes and wheels. So these are Schott Mod 5 wheels. All Schott wheels are custom order, and they're forged, CNC machined, and hand finished at the manufacturer. They have this cool cover lock technology, so you don't see any of the lugs. Gives it that nice hot rod look, kind of smooth. Pretty serious brakes on this truck. Drilled and slotted rotors with Wilwood calipers at every wheel. 6-piston front, 4-piston rear. Really nice exhaust system under here. We got a polished stainless setup, X-pipe crossover. Got some nice polished MagnaFlow mufflers. Up here, this is an interesting detail. They have some Sanderson headers. Now, that's a great choice for a build like this because Sandersons are made to be very compact. In addition to having enough space to get all of your stuff in here next to the motor on either side, they're not long tubes. You know, anybody who's ever built a low car or a car that sits low, the tubes tend to drag. I have a car that I built, actually, that happens. So this is a great choice. You know, you have good performance and good drivability. Another neat detail is the polished stainless fuel tank. Just a really nice truck overall. I hope you guys like this in-depth look at our Apache C10. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. We're hoping to do a lot more of these videos, so if there's anything you want to see or want to hear about, just hit the comments and let us know. Thanks.